And to Senator Hassan.
Well, thank you, Chair Murray, Ranking Member Burr. I really look forward to working with both of you in this new Congress. And thank you, Dr. Cardona, for being here today. And congratulations to you and your entire family for your nomination, because this kind of service is truly a family affair.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Before I start my questions, I would ask the chair if I could please have unanimous consent to enter this letter from a coalition of 54 organizations working to protect students and taxpayers with stronger consumer protections in higher education into the record. Is that without objection, Chair?
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you.
So ordered.
Thank you. Dr. Cardona, as our nation continues to grapple with unprecedented disruptions to our education systems, I look forward to hearing from you on how we can best meet the needs of our students now and going forward. Before I get to my questions, I also just want to echo Senator Collins's comments and some of Senator Murkowski's too on the importance of supporting rural schools and working collaboratively to fix the formula to ensure that schools are able to continue to access needed funding through the Rural Low-Income Schools program. And I look forward to working with you on that. I wanted to turn to the issue of COVID-19 education funding. As we've discussed today, schools need additional funding to help address COVID-19, especially in order to help more schools reopen for in-person learning. Several of my colleagues have raised concerns about the level of funding in President Biden's COVID-19 relief proposal. What specifically do you anticipate schools using that additional funding for? Do you know how the administration determined what amount was needed? And what do you see as the consequences if Congress fails to act on education funding for COVID relief?
Thank you for the question. You know, as a nominee, I'm not involved in the policy development, but I do recognize that in the development of this, different stakeholders were at the table talking about what impacts it would have as they develop this. I can tell you that as Commissioner of Education in Connecticut, the funding, and we're appreciative of the funding, has really helped us keep the lights on. Make sure we have PPEs, make sure we have schools that are safe and clean, better ventilation. We have custodial support, making sure that our buildings are clean. You know, I wouldn't want it any other way if my wife and children are going to those schools. However, the funding that's being considered now moving forward is really to make sure we recover. You know, we're experiencing, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and our learners, the social emotional development of the needs of the counselors are greater. Many of our students have lost loved ones, have been through trauma in terms of their families losing their jobs. So much change has happened. We're going to need more counselors in our schools. We're going to need to make sure we have summer programming. We're going to need to make sure we have extended day. If we really want to recover, we really need to invest now, or we're going to pay later. And I feel that the funds that are being discussed now are really to help us with a long-term recovery process, preventing layoffs when we need more teachers, not less.
Thank you. I now want to turn to the issue of career pathways, which you and I discussed a little bit when we met earlier, and the importance of engaging adult learners. And it also goes to some of what Senator Kaine was talking about in terms of the Jobs Act. Last week, I reintroduced the Gateways to Careers Act with Senators Young, Senators Kaine, and Collins. This is a bipartisan bill that would support career pathways programs where students can make an income while they earn educational credentials. The bill also includes important wraparound supports for learners who face barriers to completion, like to help access affordable housing and cover transportation costs. Do you agree that it is important to support these kinds of programs? And can you share some of your thoughts on how we can better serve adult learners who have struggled to engage with traditional education opportunities?
Right. Thank you for the question. I do think it's important. You know, Pell Grants now pay for maybe a quarter of the expenses in state colleges. I think in 1975, 1976, the same amount paid for about 3/4 of the costs. Right. So it's much more difficult to access higher education now for our learners, our students. So clear pathways that start earlier to give our pre-K-12 system students an opportunity to see what opportunities may exist, whether it's CTE or college track courses, maybe having more courses at the high school level where students can be dual enrolled
Yeah.
and really feel like they're a college student. My son is just recently enrolled in a course through his high school with a community college. And that was a pretty proud moment as a father to know that he's taking a college course as a junior and that he's having a head start. That shouldn't be the exception. There should be opportunities for all students to do those type of things. And I think with careful coordination, it should be something that we should be doing much more across our country.
Well, I look forward to working with you on that. Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield the time.